there is a unique quality to the stillness of night, a profound and sometimes heavy silence that descends when the world finally quiets its machinery. In this deep quiet, the thoughts and feelings we've managed to keep at bay during the bustling hours of the day begin to stir. They rise not with a clamor, but with the slow, certain presence of the tide coming in. And among the most persistent of these quiet visitors is a fear as old as awareness itself, the fear of time. It's a subtle anxiety, a low hum beneath the surface of our consciousness that asks, again and again, is there enough? Is there enough time left for everything I hope to do, to become, to experience, to heal? In the dark, this question can feel enormous, casting a long shadow over the peace we seek in rest. It is a fear that feels intensely personal, yet is universally shared. A silent conversation happening in countless rooms, just like this one, all across the globe. We often try to push it away, to distract ourselves, to force our minds onto other, brighter subjects. But tonight, we will try something different. Tonight, we will not fight it. We will not run from it. Instead, we will invite this great fear into a space of gentle curiosity, of calm observation, creating a sanctuary where it can be seen without judgment and perhaps understood in a new way. Before we begin this journey together, just a quick moment. Write in the comments which part of this world you're listening from right now and what time it is where you are. I'm curious, are you listening in the quiet of late night? Or perhaps in the early morning hours when sleep hasn't come yet? Just leave a word or two and then settle in. Because this time right now, is entirely yours. Knowing we are all here in our separate spaces, yet connected in this shared intention, creates a quiet field of collective calm. Someone is listening as the moon rises over a silent city, another as the first hints of dawn touch a distant coastline. We are all here, held in the same night, asking the same fundamental questions. And so, the central observation for our time together is this: what if the sharp panic we feel about time is not an enemy to be vanquished, but a profound messenger? What if this fear, when met with stillness instead of resistance, can undergo a metamorphosis? By the end of our journey tonight, we will have explored a path that transforms the frantic mental arithmetic of counting days and years into a deep, somatic trust in the rhythm of our own unfolding life. We will learn to release the weight of timelines that are not our own and find a profound sense of sufficiency in the simple, miraculous fact of this present breath. So let us begin by settling the body, the vessel that holds all of our stories and all of our time. Feel the weight of yourself here, in this bed, in this room. Notice the points of contact between your body and the surfaces that support you. The gentle pressure at the back of your head on the pillow. The weight of your shoulders sinking into the mattress. The solid, grounding presence of your hips and legs. Finally at rest after a day of carrying you through the world. Allow yourself to feel completely and utterly supported. There is nothing for you to hold up right now. Gravity is doing all the work. The bed is holding you. The floor is holding the bed. The foundation of this building is holding the floor. And the earth itself, patient and steadfast, is holding it all. You are secure. You are held. With this feeling of being supported, let's bring a gentle awareness to the tension the day may have left behind. Start with your jaw. Without needing to move it much at all, simply invite it to soften. let there be a tiny space between your upper and lower teeth. Allow your tongue to rest gently in the bottom of your mouth. Feel the small, intricate muscles around your eyes begin to release their vigilant watch. Let your forehead become smooth and wide. This is the face of someone who has nothing left to figure out tonight. Now, let this wave of softness travel down into your neck and shoulders. This is where we so often carry the burdens of the day, the sense of responsibility, the weight of our to-do lists. With your next exhale, imagine that weight dissolving, melting down through your arms and out through your fingertips, leaving your shoulders feeling lighter, broader, and more at ease. There is nothing for you to carry into your rest. You can set it all down, right here, at the edge of sleep. Your hands can finally unclench. Let them rest open, palms up or down, in a posture of receiving, of allowing. They have done enough today. Their work is complete. Bring your awareness now to your chest and your abdomen. This is the center of your breath, the place where life's rhythm is most apparent. Don't try to change your breathing in any way. Simply notice it. Notice the gentle rise on the inhale and the simple, complete release on the exhale. This breath has been with you all day, a faithful, quiet companion through every moment, every challenge, every joy. It doesn't ask you to count it. It doesn't worry if there will be enough air for the next one. It simply arrives and it simply departs in a perfect, unbroken rhythm of trust. For these next few moments, let your entire focus rest on this gentle, rhythmic motion. Feel how it creates a subtle rocking in your entire body, a gentle lullaby of being alive. Finally, allow this sense of release to flow down through your legs, all the way to the tips of your toes. Your legs, which have stood for you, walked for you, and carried you forward, can now be completely still. They have brought you here to this place of rest. Their journey for the day is over. Feel the energy of the day draining out, leaving behind a feeling of pleasant heaviness, a deep and welcome stillness. Your entire body, from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet, is now invited to rest. It is safe to let go. It is safe to be still. And in this stillness, let us set a quiet intention. The intention is not to force the fear of time to disappear, but to create a space of such profound safety and gentleness within ourselves that this fear can finally be seen for what it is, a deep, desperate call to be present. Our intention is to transform our relationship with time, moving from a place of panicked counting to one of quiet, embodied trust. We are planting a seed tonight, a seed of faith in our own unfolding, trusting that just like any great metamorphosis in nature, our own journey has its own perfect, unhurried timing. And it is happening right now. And in this quiet, settled space we have created, let us gently turn our attention to the moment that so often precipitates this fear of time. It is a moment that arrives without warning, a sudden, cold awakening from the warm dream of ordinary life. It can come through a phone call, a text message, a shared post online, the news of a death, specifically the death of a peer, someone who walked a similar path, shared a similar age, someone whose story we imagined would unfold in parallel to our own for many, many years to come. The news lands not as a thought, but as a physical impact. It is a jolt, a visceral shock that travels through the body before the mind has even had a chance to form a coherent sentence. There is a sudden silence in the inner world. The background noise of daily worries, plans, and anxieties simply stops. And into that silence drops a single heavy stone of fact, sending ripples out to every corner of our being. The world outside may continue on, cars driving by, birds singing, but inside, a profound and irreversible shift has occurred. A crack has appeared in the smooth, invisible wall of our perceived invulnerability. We are suddenly, starkly aware of the fragility of the story we are living. This moment can feel like a cruelty, an act of cosmic unfairness that has stolen something from us, even if the loss is not directly ours. It feels like a threat, a dark omen. Our first instinct is to recoil from it, to armor ourselves against the cold it brings, to perhaps get angry or numb ourselves to the sheer vertigo of the experience. But what if we considered another possibility? What if this sudden, cold awakening is not a curse? What if it is, in fact, a profound, albeit deeply painful, invitation? An invitation to see with new eyes. For a moment, the fog of the mundane is cleared, and we are shown the landscape of our lives with breathtaking clarity. All the small things we fret over, the minor grievances, the endless chase for what's next, they all fall away. And we are left standing before the magnificent, terrifying, and precious reality of our own existence. Think of it like a sudden storm in the mountains. The wind howls, the rain lashes down, and it feels violent and frightening. But when it passes, the air is clean and clear. The dust has settled. Every leaf on every tree is washed and vibrant, and you can see for miles. This shock, this grief, this jolt, it is a storm that clarifies. It is nature's way, and the psyche's way, of reminding us what is real. It is an invitation to stop sleepwalking. It asks us to lift our heads from the trivialities that consume our days and look at the sky, to feel the beating of our own hearts, to truly register the miracle of being here, right now, breathing in this room. It is a call to authenticity, a plea from life itself to be lived more fully, more gratefully, more lovingly. It is not a threat against your future. It is a fierce and urgent blessing for your present. The pain of it is what makes the invitation so potent. A gentle reminder might be ignored. A polite suggestion might be forgotten by lunchtime. But this kind of shock reverberates. It changes our cellular understanding of what it means to be alive. It recalibrates our internal compass, pointing it away from the trivial and toward the essential. And for this, in the quietest part of ourselves, we can eventually feel a strange and solemn gratitude, the gratitude of the awakened. And yet, even as we try to hold this higher, more philosophical perspective, we are still beautifully, vulnerably human. And the human heart, in the face of such a stark reminder of finality, has its own, much more immediate response. Beneath the attempt to find meaning, beneath the spiritual reframing, a primal part of us cries out. It is not a thought born of logic, but a question that erupts directly from the core of our being, from our instinct to survive, our profound attachment to this life. As the news settles and the initial shock gives way to a cold dread, the heart poses its panicked, whispered question. A question aimed at the silent, empty sky. A question we are almost ashamed to admit because it feels so starkly self-centered in a moment of another's tragedy. But we must acknowledge it without judgment, for it is one of the most honest questions we will ever ask. The question is simple. How much time is left for me? There it is, the raw, unfiltered voice of our deepest fear and our deepest love of life intertwined. How much time is left for me? It echoes in the sudden quiet. It is the question that will keep us awake tonight if we let it. It is the question that springs from a place that has witnessed an ending and now desperately seeks a guarantee of its own continuation. It is not a selfish question. It is the question of a conscious creature that has been given the staggering gift of life and is terrified of having it taken away. Tonight, we will not push this question away. We will not shame it into silence. We will hold it gently, here in the darkness. We will allow it to be. For in the honest acknowledgement of this deep, primal fear, our true transformation can begin. We are not here to answer it with a number. We are here to let the question itself change us. Once the heart has asked its raw and urgent question, how much time is left for me? The mind, ever the loyal servant, immediately leaps into action. It cannot bear the vast, echoing silence of that uncertainty. The mind is a problem solver, a pattern matcher, an organizer of chaos. Faced with the ultimate unknown, its immediate, almost spastic reaction is to try and turn the unknowable into a knowable quantity. It tries to create an answer, any answer, to soothe the heart's terror. And the only tool it has for this task is the familiar, logical language of numbers. And so begins the mind's anxious arithmetic. It happens so quickly, so automatically, that we barely even notice we're doing it. It is a silent, frantic calculation that unfolds in the backstage of our consciousness. The first number it seizes upon is the age of the person whose story has just concluded. Let's say, for this quiet exploration, that age was 47. The mind holds that number up like a piece of evidence. 47. It feels heavy, sharp, and terribly real. Then with a speed that is almost breathtaking, it pulls up our own age. 39, 44, 52, whatever it may be. And it places the two numbers side by side. 47, 52. A comparison is instantly made. From this simple comparison, the calculation expands. The mind begins subtracting. It calculates the difference. They were only 5 years older than me. I have 8 years until I reach that age. The numbers become markers on a terrifyingly short ruler. The mind starts tallying birthdays, counting the remaining milestones, measuring the distance between now and then. It becomes a frantic, internal audit of time. It might recall other numbers, other ages of people we have known who have died, adding them to the equation, trying to find a pattern, an average, a predictable outcome. My uncle was 61. My friend from college was 35. The mind is desperately searching for a rule, a law of temporal physics that can provide some semblance of order to the terrifying randomness of it all. It is trying to build a fortress of certainty in the middle of an ocean of mystery. And we must be so gentle with our minds when they do this. Let us take a moment, right here, to observe this process with a deep and abiding compassion. This mental math is not a sign of morbidity. It is not a flaw in our character. It is, in fact, a profound expression of a deep and ancient survival mechanism. It is the mind's desperate attempt to create a sense of control where there is none. Imagine a child lost in a dark forest. They might start counting their steps or counting the trees they pass, not because it tells them the way out, but because the rhythm of counting is a small, predictable pattern in a vast, unpredictable wilderness. It is a tiny light of order in the overwhelming darkness. Our mind's anxious arithmetic is just like that. It is counting the trees in the dark forest of mortality. It believes that if it can just calculate correctly, if it can just find the right formula, it can predict the future and thereby protect us from it. It is a deeply protective, albeit misguided impulse. It is an act of love from a part of us that is trying its very best to keep us safe. So as you lie here, if you notice your own mind engaging in this silent, frantic calculation, don't scold it. Don't try to force it to stop. Simply notice it. Observe it with the gentle curiosity of a scientist watching a fascinating natural phenomenon. Ah, there it is. There's the mind, doing its counting. There it is, subtracting the years. There it is, trying to build its little fortress of numbers. See it not as me, but as a function of the mind, a pattern of thought that has been triggered. By observing it in this way, you create a small space between you, the observer, and the thought pattern itself. In that space lies the beginning of freedom. You are not the calculator. You are the one who is aware of the calculation. This simple shift in perspective is the first step in disarming the panic. The truth that the mind struggles to accept is that life is not a mathematical equation. It is a mystery. It is a poem. It does not operate on the principles of addition and subtraction, but on principles of unfolding, of seasons, of rhythm, and of grace. To try and measure a life with the rigid ruler of numbers is like trying to measure a song with a yardstick. It misses the entire point. The value of a song is not in its length, but in its melody, its harmony, its emotional resonance, and in the silence that follows it. The value of a life is not in its duration, but in its depth, its love, its connection, its learning, and in the legacy of memory it leaves behind. The mind's anxious arithmetic can only ever measure the container. It can never, ever grasp the content. So we watch this process. We see the mind desperately trying to create certainty in the face of the ultimate uncertainty. We see its good intentions, and we gently, lovingly, thank it for its efforts to protect us. We can say to it, silently, "Thank you for trying so hard to keep me safe. I see what you are doing. But this is a mystery that numbers cannot solve. You can rest now." By acknowledging its function and then giving it permission to rest, we are not suppressing the thought. We are transcending it. We are choosing to shift our focus from the frantic search for a numerical answer to a quiet, abiding in the mystery itself. We are releasing the need to calculate our way to safety, and instead beginning the journey of finding safety in the simple, non-negotiable truth of the present moment. The numbers will fade when we stop giving them our anxious attention. And in the space they leave behind, something much more real and much more comforting can finally emerge. Now that we have observed the mind's anxious arithmetic with compassion, we can begin the central, most vital work of this quiet night. This is the gentle but firm act of energetic separation. It is the process of honoring their completed story while fully, unequivocally reclaiming the sovereignty of your own. The mind, in its panicked state, creates a dangerous fusion. It sees their timeline coming to an abrupt end, and out of a deeply ingrained sense of sympathetic connection, it superimposes that ending onto your own future. It creates an imaginary bridge between their destiny and yours, and then it begins to fearfully walk across it. Our task tonight is to lovingly, respectfully, dismantle that bridge. The foundational concept we must anchor ourselves in is this: their timeline, their unique and unrepeatable journey has concluded. Yours is still unfolding, right here, in this breath, in this very moment. As you lie in the quiet dark, your story is being written, not in the future, not in the past, but now. To help us feel this truth not just as a thought, but as a deep, embodied reality. Let us use a simple, powerful metaphor. Imagine a vast, quiet library, the library of lives. Each life that has ever been lived is a book on these shelves. Each book is utterly unique, with its own cover, its own title, its own number of pages. Some books are slender volumes of poetry, their impact profound and intense in their brevity. Some are sweeping epics, spanning many chapters, filled with countless adventures and quiet passages. Others are intricate works of nonfiction, filled with data, learning, and discovery. There is no judgment here about the length of a book. The library honors each one for its unique contribution to the whole. The slender volume is no less valuable than the weighty tome. Each is a complete work in itself. Each tells a story that was needed. The person whose passing has shaken you, their book is on these shelves. Let us imagine finding it. We approach it with reverence and respect. We see the title, their name. We can gently run a hand over the cover, feeling the texture, acknowledging the reality of it. This book has been read to its final page. The last sentence has been written. The story is complete, from its first hopeful chapter to its final, conclusive word. It is now a finished work, a sacred text. We can feel the sadness of its completion, the grief that there will be no more pages. We can honor the beauty of the story it told, the lives it touched, the world it described. We can sit with this book, hold it in our hearts, and give thanks for the story it contained. This is honoring. This is grief. This is love. But now, here is the crucial step. After spending a moment with their completed book, you must gently, and with great intention, place it back on the shelf. Feel the finality of that action. The book slides into its designated place among the others. It is now part of the great, completed collection. Its story is sacred, but it is sealed. It is done. And then you turn, and you become aware of your own book. It is not on the shelf. It is right here in your hands. Feel its weight. Notice its cover. But most importantly, notice this. Your book is open. It is open to this very page, the one being written in this moment. The ink is still wet. The words describing your breath, your stillness, your thoughts as you listen to this, they are appearing right now. This page is not the last page. You do not even know how many chapters are left to come, and that is not your concern. Your only concern, your only gift, is the page you are on right now. This is the core of the separation. Their book is closed and on the shelf. Your book is open and in your hands. These are two completely separate, distinct, and sovereign realities. Their ending is not a prophecy for yours. The final sentence in their book does not, in any way, dictate the words being written in yours. To believe that it does is a trick of the grieving mind, a fusion born of fear. By visualizing this separation, we begin to dissolve that fusion. We can honor their complete story without letting its ending bleed onto the fresh, unwritten pages of our own. Take a deep breath right now. And as you exhale, feel this separation in your very bones. Feel the truth of it. Their journey is honored, complete, and at rest. Your journey is present, alive, and unfolding. This process of energetic separation is not an act of forgetting or of disrespect. It is the opposite. It is the ultimate act of respect for both lives. To truly honor their life, we must see it as uniquely their own, with its own sacred and particular destiny. And to truly honor our own life, we must claim it as uniquely ours, refusing to live under the shadow of a fate that does not belong to us. we are releasing them to their peace. And in the very same motion, we are releasing ourselves to our continued living. We are gently disentangling the threads of fear and projection, allowing each story to stand in its own sacred space. So feel yourself now, not as a reader anxiously flipping to the last page of your own book, but as the writer, fully present, pen in hand, focused only on the sentence being formed by this very breath. This is your story. It is happening now, and it is entirely, completely, and beautifully your own. Having gently placed their completed book back on the library shelf and feeling the weight of our own open book in our hands, we can now venture a little deeper. We can begin to explore the subtle, powerful, and often entirely unconscious belief that causes us to fuse our timeline with another's in the first place. This is the myth of parallel lives. It's a quiet assumption buried deep in our psyche that the lives of our peers, our friends, our siblings, our colleagues, those who started the journey at roughly the same time, are supposed to run on parallel tracks. We see ourselves all lined up at the start of a race, and we unconsciously expect to run alongside each other, keeping a similar pace for the entire duration. We go through similar stages at similar times: education, first jobs, relationships, perhaps creating families. The tracks seem to run in perfect synchrony for so long that we begin to believe this parallelism is a fundamental law of the universe. We forget that these are simply shared seasons, not a shared, singular destiny. When one of these parallel tracks comes to a sudden, unexpected end, it shatters this illusion. It feels like a violation of an unspoken contract. The mind screams, "Wait, that's not supposed to happen. They were right next to me. If their track can just disappear, what does that say about mine?" The sudden vanishing of the neighboring track creates a terrifying void, and our mind, in its fear, immediately projects that same possibility onto our own path. We mistake a divergence in destiny for a prediction of our own. We believe that another's fate is a dark prophecy whispered directly to us. This unconscious contract, this myth of parallel tracks, is the root of the specific anxiety we are exploring tonight. It is the hidden architecture of this particular fear. Tonight, our meditative work is to consciously, gently, and lovingly let go of this unwritten contract. This is a profound act of psychological and spiritual liberation. It is the moment we stop looking at the lane next to us for clues about our own journey and turn our gaze fully onto the path beneath our own feet. We can begin this process with a simple, powerful visualization. Imagine your life path, not as a straight, rigid track, but as a gently meandering footpath through a vast and varied landscape. It has its own unique curves and turns, its own ascents into sunlit meadows and descents into quiet, shaded valleys. Now, visualize the path of the person you are grieving. See it, for a time, winding along near yours. You could see each other across the way, perhaps wave, perhaps even walk side by side for a while where the paths converged. You shared a similar part of the landscape for a beautiful season. But now, in your mind's eye, see their path gently, naturally, diverging. It takes a turn you did not expect. It leads into a dense, quiet forest, or perhaps over a rise, and into a valley of mist where you can no longer see it. Its journey continues, but on a trajectory that is wholly its own, a trajectory that leads to its own sacred destination of completion. And your path? Your path continues on its own course. It does not follow theirs into the mist. It continues to wind through its own unique landscape. See this divergence not as a tragedy, but as a natural, albeit painful, parting of ways, as is the nature of all paths. Feel the truth of this. Their journey had its own map, its own sacred geometry, and so does yours. They were never identical. They were only, for a blessed period of time, companions. This is the transformation from comparison to a deep, radical acceptance of your own individual, unrepeatable existence. To be truly alive is to embrace the glorious, terrifying uniqueness of your own path. It means accepting that you have your own lessons to learn, your own joys to experience, your own sorrows to integrate, and your own timing for it all. To live in constant comparison, to constantly check the progress of the person on the path next to you, is to abandon the sacred duty of walking your own. It is to live a borrowed life, anxious and inauthentic. The shock of a peer's death is a brutal but effective severing of this habit of comparison. It forces us to confront the fact that there are no guarantees, no parallel assurances. There is only this path, this moment, this breath. Let this understanding settle into your body. Feel the release that comes with it. The burden of keeping pace, of adhering to the unwritten contract of parallel lives, begins to lift. You are free. You are free to have your own unique timeline. You are free to trust the unfolding of your own seasons. You are free from the need to look over your shoulder, anxiously checking another's position to determine your own safety. Your safety is not found there. It is found here, in the full, unreserved inhabiting of your own life, right now. This is a profound metamorphosis of perspective. The fear born of a broken parallel is transformed into the freedom of a singular, unique journey. As you drift deeper into a state of rest, let go of any remaining sense that your life is meant to be a mirror of anyone else's. Your life is an original masterpiece, a one-time celestial event. It has never happened before, and it will never happen again. To honor this miraculous originality is your greatest purpose. The paths of others can inspire us, teach us, and comfort us, but they can never, ever define our own. Let go of the contract. Release the myth of the parallel. And in the space that opens up, feel the profound peace and the quiet, thrilling responsibility of walking a path that is yours and yours alone. As we release the myth of parallel lives, a new layer of understanding can emerge. We begin to notice a particular emotional weight we've been carrying, a heaviness that settled in our hearts at the very moment we heard the news. This is the weight of unlived tomorrows, not our own, but theirs. It is a peculiar and poignant form of grief. We are not only sad for the loss of the person as they were, we are also grieving for all the potential they held, for the future they were supposed to have. We grieve for the milestones they will now never reach, the joys they will not experience, the love they will not give or receive in the years we all assumed they had left. We grieve for the unfinished projects, the unspoken words, the unrealized dreams. Our minds create a phantom future for them, a beautiful collage of all the things that should have been, and then we mourn the loss of that imagined reality. This is a profound act of empathy, a testament to our capacity for connection and love. But it also has a shadow side, because once we have conjured this vision of their lost potential, we almost invariably project it onto our own future. We begin to carry their unlived tomorrows as a burden of fear for ourselves. The sadness we feel for what they lost becomes an anxiety about what we too could lose. This weight is subtle but incredibly powerful. It feels heavy in the chest, a quiet ache behind the sternum. It can manifest as a low-grade anxiety, a sense of foreboding that colors our days, a feeling that our own future has somehow been diminished, made more fragile, less certain. It's as if we've picked up a heavy, invisible cloak that belonged to them, and out of a confused sense of solidarity or fear, draped it over our own shoulders. This cloak is woven from the threads of their lost possibilities, and it is far too heavy for us to bear. Let us, in this moment of deep quiet, bring our full attention to this feeling. Can you locate it in your body? Perhaps it's a tightness in your throat, a hollow feeling in your stomach, or that familiar pressure in your chest. Don't try to push it away. Simply acknowledge its presence. There is that heaviness. That is the borrowed grief. That is the weight of their unlived future. By naming it, we begin to separate from it. We see it not as an intrinsic part of us, but as something we have taken on. Now let's begin the process of gently and with the utmost respect, setting it down. This is not an act of callousness or forgetting. It is an act of clarity and love for them and love for ourselves. We are recognizing that carrying their cloak does not honor them, and it profoundly harms us. Imagine this heavy cloak around your shoulders right now. Feel its texture, its weight. Acknowledge what it represents, all the beautiful potential of a life now complete. Hold it for a moment with reverence. Thank it for teaching you how precious a single day is. Thank it for reminding you of the fierce beauty of a life fully lived. This cloak is a sacred object, but it is not yours to wear. Now, very slowly, with great intention, begin to shrug it off your shoulders. Feel it slide down your arms. Let it fall gently to the ground beside you. There is no rush. This is a deliberate, meditative act. As it falls, feel the immediate lightness in your shoulders, in your back, in your chest. Take a deeper breath than you have all day, and feel the new space that has been created inside of you. The space that was being crushed by that weight is now free. Now, look at the cloak lying there. It is not something to be discarded or thrown away. It is something to be honored. Imagine folding it carefully, as you would a precious garment. Fold into it all your love, all your grief, all your cherished memories of this person. Fold into it your gratitude for the time you had, for the lessons they taught you. This folded cloak is no longer a burden of fear. It has been transformed into a beautiful, compact bundle of memory and love. You can now place this bundle on a metaphorical altar in your heart, a sacred space where you can visit it anytime you wish, to remember and to honor, but which you do not have to carry with you into every moment of your day. It is safe, it is honored, and you are free. It is a crucial realization. Carrying their unlived future does not, in any way, secure your own. In fact, it does the opposite. By weighing ourselves down with a future that was never ours, we cripple our ability to fully inhabit the present that is ours. We cannot walk freely and joyfully on our own path if we are stooped under the weight of a path that is already ended. To truly honor them, to truly make their memory a blessing, is to take the lessons of their life and their death and use them to live our own remaining time with more presence, more courage, and more love. We honor the dead not by ceasing to live, but by living more fully. We take the clarity that their passing gave us and we turn it into action, into appreciation, into connection. That is how their legacy continues. Not by our carrying their burdens, but by our embracing our own blessings with a newfound gratitude. So let this feeling of lightness spread through your entire body. The space in your chest expands. Your breath deepens, becoming calm and full. The anxious knot in your stomach begins to dissolve. You are returning to yourself, to your own energy field, to your own sacred present. The weight has been set down. The borrowed grief has been transformed into honored memory, and you are left with only what is truly yours to carry, the simple, miraculous, and completely sufficient gift of this very moment. Now that we have respectfully set down the heavy cloak of borrowed grief, we find ourselves in a new space, a lighter space, a space of presence. And here, in this newfound clarity, we can initiate the most pivotal transition of our entire journey tonight. This is the conscious shift of our attention away from the abstract, anxious realm of the mind and into the tangible, calming reality of the body. We are moving our anchor of awareness from the frantic, illusory world of calendar pages and ticking clocks to the steady, rhythmic, and utterly truthful world of our own breath. This is not a small adjustment. It is a fundamental reorientation of our entire being, a journey from the head down into the heart, and deeper still, into the quiet wisdom of the flesh. For as long as we remain trapped in the mind's anxious arithmetic, we are living in a conceptual future, a place of what ifs and how longs. It is a landscape made of ghosts and shadows, a place that has no reality outside of our own fearful thoughts. And in that realm, there is no peace to be found. Peace is never found in a concept. It is only ever found in a sensation. The sensation we will turn to is the most reliable, most constant, and most life-affirming one we have, the simple, miraculous act of breathing. Your breath is the ultimate truth teller. It does not know about next year. It does not worry about last week. It is concerned only with this precise, singular moment. Its entire universe is contained within the gentle arc of a single inhale and the complete release of a single exhale. To bring your full, undivided attention to your breath is to bring yourself home to the only moment that has ever truly existed, right now. So let us do that. Let your awareness, which may have been scattered across timelines of past and future, gently gather itself. Imagine it like drawing in a net from a wide, turbulent sea, bringing it back to rest in the small, calm harbor of your own chest. Let's begin with the inhale. Without forcing it or trying to deepen it, simply notice the very next time your body draws air in. Follow that sensation from the very beginning. Feel the coolness of the air as it enters your nostrils. Notice the subtle expansion of your chest, the gentle rise of your abdomen. For the few seconds that you are inhaling, you are receiving. You are taking in the very essence of life, the oxygen that fuels every cell in your body, the air that connects you to the trees, the oceans, the entire living biosphere of this planet. In this simple act, you are participating in the great sacred exchange of life. Let each inhale from this moment on be a silent, powerful affirmation. With every breath you draw in, you are affirming your place in the world. You are saying a quiet, profound yes to life. Yes, I am here. I am alive. I am breathing. Now turn your gentle attention to the exhale. Notice the moment of stillness at the peak of the inhale, just before the tide turns. And then, the release. Feel the warmth of the air as it leaves your body. Feel the gentle deflation of your abdomen and chest, a physical act of letting go. The exhale is a complete surrender. The body does not cling to the old stale air. It releases it completely, trusting, with an absolute and unwavering faith, that a new breath will arrive when it is needed. It does not hoard. It does not hold on. It lets go. Let this be the new meaning of your exhale tonight. With every breath you release, you are letting go of the need to calculate. You are releasing the numbers, the dates, the frantic tallies of the mind. You are exhaling the fear. You are letting go of the illusion of control. Let the exhale be a soft, silent sigh of relief, a physical expression of your surrender to the mystery. Inhale, I am here. Exhale, I let go. Inhale, a quiet affirmation of presence. Exhale, a gentle release of the need to know. Can you feel the shift that is happening? We are moving our awareness from the head to the body. Anxiety is an affliction of the mind, a state of being lost in thought, particularly thoughts about the future. Presence is the wisdom of the body. The body cannot be anxious in the same way the mind can, for the body exists only in the now. It feels the sheets beneath it. It feels the temperature of the air. It feels the rhythm of the breath. To anchor your attention in the body, in the simple, physical reality of the breath, is to step out of the frantic river of anxious thought and onto the solid, stable bank of the present moment. This is the antidote. This is the medicine. It is so simple that the mind, in its complexity, can barely believe it, but it is profoundly, miraculously effective. Continue this gentle rhythm. Each breath is a complete journey. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Each breath is a perfect, whole unit of time, and you have an endless supply of them for as long as this life is yours. You do not need to worry about the breath that is coming in a minute. You only need to be present for this one, and this one, and now this one. As you do this, the frantic story about how much time is left begins to dissolve. The question itself becomes irrelevant. In the world of the breath, there is only now, and in the now, there is always enough. There is enough air for this inhale. There is enough release for this exhale. And that is all that is required. You are transforming your entire relationship with time, one breath at a time. You are moving from a timeline of years and decades to a timeline of inhales and exhales. And in this new timeline, you will find a peace that the calculating mind could never, ever have hoped to find for you. As we anchor ourselves more deeply in the rhythm of the breath, a remarkable transformation occurs. The vast, intimidating, and unknowable expanse of a lifetime begins to recede from our focus. It is too big, too abstract, too filled with the shadows of uncertainty for us to hold in this moment of rest. Instead, our world gently contracts, not in a way that feels constricting, but in a way that feels comforting and manageable. Our awareness settles into a much smaller, much more sacred unit of time, the complete circle of this single night. Let us, for the remainder of our time together, frame this night not as a mere passage to another day, but as a whole and complete journey in itself. It has a beginning, which was the moment you decided to seek rest. It has a middle, which is this quiet present moment of listening and breathing. And it will have a gentle end, which is the surrender into sleep. This night is its own small lifetime, a perfect, contained sphere of existence. In this reframing, we can begin to discover a profound sense of sufficiency. The anxious mind is always obsessed with insufficiency. It tells us we don't have enough time, enough energy, enough security. It is a creature of perpetual lack. But here, within the sacred circle of this single night, we can find that everything is enough. Right now, in this moment, you have enough air to breathe. You have enough stillness in your body. You have enough quiet in this room. You are warm enough. You are safe enough. You are here enough. There is nothing missing from this moment. It is whole, it is complete, and it is entirely sufficient. The frantic need for future guarantees begins to dissolve when we find absolute fulfillment in the present. Consider this. If this night were all there was, if the entire universe were to consist of only this moment of you, lying here, breathing in the quiet dark, would it not be enough? You are here. The simple, staggering miracle of your consciousness is present. You are held in a state of safety and repose. The storm of the day has passed. The demands of tomorrow have not yet arrived. There is only this gentle, peaceful isness. To touch this feeling of deep sufficiency, even for a fleeting moment, is to heal a fundamental wound of the human condition. It is to step out of the relentless narrative of more and next, and to come home to the profound peace of now and enough. Let this feeling of enoughness permeate your entire being. Let it be the gentle mantra that accompanies your breath. As you inhale, a silent feeling of fullness. As you exhale, a silent feeling of peace. There is nothing to strive for in this moment. There is no destination to reach. The destination is here. You have already arrived. Rest is not a means to an end, a way to recharge so you can be more productive tomorrow. Rest is the destination itself. It is a state of being where you are allowed to simply be, without justification, without apology. You have earned this rest simply by being alive. It is your birthright. The entire purpose of this moment is this moment. Its value is not in what it prepares you for, but in what it is, in and of itself. A sanctuary of sufficient presence. By embracing the completeness of tonight, we release the desperate need for promises about tomorrow. The mind wants a contract signed by the universe, guaranteeing a certain number of future days. But the universe does not deal in such contracts. It deals only in the currency of the present moment. And tonight, it has given you a treasure. It has given you the gift of this night, this rest, this quiet, this breath. To fully receive this gift with gratitude is the only task required of you. When you fully receive the gift of now, the frantic need for the gift of tomorrow begins to soften. You begin to trust that if this moment can be so complete, so sufficient, then the next moment, when it arrives, will also contain all that is needed. You build faith in the future, not by anxiously trying to secure it, but by deeply and gratefully inhabiting the present. This is a radical shift in our approach to life. We are taught to live for the future, to plan for it, to sacrifice the present for its sake. But what if the best way to prepare for the future is to be so completely present that we extract every drop of peace, wisdom, and nourishment from the moment we are actually in? What if the peace we cultivate tonight is the very foundation upon which a peaceful tomorrow can be built? We are not ignoring the future. We are planting the seeds for it in the only fertile ground that exists, the soil of the present moment. And the seed we are planting tonight is the seed of trust. Trust that this moment is enough. Trust that you are enough. Trust that rest is enough. Let your body absorb this truth. Feel the anxiety drain away as you stop demanding guarantees from a future that does not yet exist. Feel the deep, grounding peace that comes from accepting the perfection of this single, circular, complete night. You are not waiting for life to begin. You are not in a liminal space before the real thing starts. This is it. This quiet, this breath, this stillness. This is the fabric of life itself. It is as real, as valid, and as important as any moment of dramatic action or achievement. It is the sacred pause, the holy darkness, in which everything is restored and made new. Welcome home to it. There is nowhere else you need to be. You are exactly where you are meant to be, in the complete and sufficient circle of tonight. As we rest here, nestled in the sufficiency of this single night, let us gently shift our attention once more. We are going to turn away from the noisy, chattering surface of the conscious mind and listen instead to a much deeper, quieter, and infinitely wiser intelligence. We are going to tune into the wisdom of the body's trust. While your mind may have been spinning in frantic loops, calculating years and fearing endings, your body has been engaged in an entirely different activity. It has been calmly, quietly, and methodically going about the sacred business of living. Your body is not interested in the abstract concept of a lifetime. It is not counting the days. Its entire focus, its entire reality, is the process of this very moment. And in this moment, it is engaged in a symphony of healing, restoration, and preparation for deep, rejuvenating rest. It is a masterpiece of innate, unwavering trust. Let's begin by bringing our awareness to the heartbeat. Without placing a hand on your chest, see if you can feel its gentle, steady rhythm from the inside. It might be a subtle pulse in your neck, a faint thrumming in your fingertips, or just a general sense of rhythmic life deep within your torso. This beat has been with you since you were a tiny cluster of cells in your mother's womb. It has beaten, faithfully, billions of times, without a single conscious instruction from you. It has never asked for a guarantee about its next beat. It simply performs this one, with complete presence and dedication, trusting that the conditions for the next one will arise. It is the drumbeat of pure presence, the rhythm of life itself, steady and faithful in the quiet dark. Feel its constancy. It is the ultimate testament to the body's trust in the process of being. It is not in a panic. It is simply, profoundly beating. Now, return your awareness to the gentle rise and fall of your chest. We have felt it as an anchor to the present, but now, let's feel it as an expression of trust. Each time your body exhales, it releases its hold on the very substance of life, air. It lets it go completely, without a moment's hesitation, in the deep, somatic knowing that a new breath is coming. This is not a hope. It is not a wish. It is a certainty that is coded into every cell of your being. Can you imagine the kind of anxiety we would live in if breathing were a conscious choice? If, after every exhale, we had to worry and wonder if we would be granted an inhale, it would be unbearable. But our bodies, in their infinite wisdom, have taken this most vital function and made it a perfect, unconscious rhythm of trust. To witness your own breathing is to witness a constant living demonstration of letting go and receiving, of surrender and renewal. It is a sermon preached in the silent language of physiology. Let your awareness travel even deeper. Beneath the rhythm of the heart and the lungs, countless other miracles of trust are unfolding. Right now, as you lie in stillness, your digestive system is quietly processing the nourishment from your last meal, transforming it into energy for tomorrow. Your liver is diligently filtering and cleansing your blood. Your immune system is standing its silent, vigilant watch, repairing and protecting. Trillions of cells are engaged in the intricate dance of regeneration, replacing old with new, healing the tiny damages of the day. All of this is happening without any conscious effort from you. It is the body's deep, abiding faith in its own process. It is not worried about tomorrow's healing. It is entirely engrossed in the healing of this very moment. It embodies a wisdom that the conscious mind can barely comprehend. The wisdom that if you take care of the present moment with absolute fidelity, the future will, in its own way, take care of itself. This is the great metamorphosis we are inviting tonight. The transformation of anxious mental energy into a deep, somatic sense of trust. The mind generates anxiety by leaving the present moment and projecting itself into a future it cannot control. The body generates trust by remaining steadfastly, immovably in the present. By shifting your attention from your thoughts to your physical sensations, you are literally changing your energetic state. You are unplugging from the chaotic, high-frequency energy of anxiety and plugging into the calm, steady, low-frequency energy of embodied trust. Feel this shift happening. Feel the frenetic energy in your head and shoulders begin to drain downwards, transforming as it goes, becoming a warm, heavy, peaceful presence in your limbs and torso. You are not trying to convince yourself to trust. You are not using affirmations to force a belief. You are simply aligning your consciousness with a part of you that has never, for a single moment, stopped trusting. You are coming home to the wisdom you were born with. Your body knows that rest is not a void. It knows that this period of stillness is a vital and active phase of life. It is when the most important work of healing and integration happens. Your body trusts the darkness. It trusts the silence. It trusts the process of sleep as a necessary journey of renewal. It does not fear the cessation of activity. It welcomes it as a blessing. Let your mind learn from your body tonight. Let it be humbled by the body's simple, profound, and unwavering faith. Your mind may be afraid of endings, but your body knows that every exhale is a small, perfect ending that makes a new beginning possible. It lives in a perpetual, graceful cycle of release and renewal. Align with that. Feel yourself as a complete, living organism, and let the part of you that trusts lead the way into sleep. The body knows the way. All you have to do is let go and follow its lead. As we settle into this deep, somatic trust, cradled by the wisdom of the body, we can gently allow our perspective to widen once more. We are moving from the intensely personal and internal to a connection with the universal, finding a reflection of our own journey in the patient, rhythmic cycles of the natural world. This helps to lift our personal story out of isolation and place it within a much larger, and therefore much more peaceful, context. Let us use the quiet, powerful metaphor of a garden. Imagine for a moment that your life is a unique and singular garden. It has its own specific plot of land, its own soil composition, its own unique relationship with the sun and the rain. No other garden in the universe is exactly like it. It has its own distinct seasons, its own innate patterns of growth, its own necessary periods of fallowness and rest. There are times of exuberant new growth in the spring of your life, with tender shoots and vibrant blossoms pushing up towards the light. There are long, sun-drenched summers of fullness and maturity, where the garden is lush and abundant. There are autumns of harvest and release, where the leaves turn to gold and gracefully let go. And there are winters of deep quiet, where the life force gathers itself in the dark, silent earth, preparing for a future renewal. Your garden, right now, is in its own particular season. Perhaps you are in a vibrant summer, feeling full of energy and purpose. Perhaps you are in a gentle autumn, a time of reflection and letting go. You might even be in a necessary winter, a period of quiet introspection and rest. There is no judgment about which season is best. Each season is a vital and sacred part of the garden's whole life. The wisdom of the garden is that it never tries to be in a season that it is not in. It does not demand spring blossoms in the middle of winter. It does not cling to summer's lushness when autumn arrives. It surrenders perfectly to the rhythm of its own unfolding. It trusts its season. Now, let us consider the garden of the person whose life has concluded. Their garden has entered its final sacred winter. The last leaf has fallen. The last harvest has been gathered. The energy of that garden has completed its cycle and has returned to the earth. It is a state of profound and holy rest. It is not a failed spring or a summer cut short. It is the natural, dignified, and complete arrival of its final season. To see it this way is to release it from the tragedy of being unfinished. From the perspective of the grand cycle of nature, it is not unfinished at all. It is complete. Its purpose was to live through its allotted seasons, and it has done so. The beauty and nourishment it provided during its spring, summer, and autumn are now a permanent part of the memory of the world, enriching the soil for all the other gardens around it. And your garden? Your garden is right here. It is vibrantly, undeniably in its current season. Feel the truth of this. Their winter does not, in any way, hasten the arrival of your own. Their final rest does not drain the life force from your soil. The two gardens are distinct, sovereign ecosystems, each following its own sacred timetable. To look at their completed garden and feel fear for your own is to misunderstand the fundamental law of nature, which is that every living thing has its own unique and unrepeatable rhythm of unfolding. A magnificent oak tree may live for centuries, while the beautiful morning glory next to it lives for a single, glorious day. Does the morning glory lament its brevity in comparison to the oak? No. It simply opens itself completely to the sun for its allotted time, fulfilling its own nature perfectly. It does not compare. It simply is time. 2-point arose. Let us spend a few moments contemplating the beauty and the rightness of your own current season, whatever that may be. If you are in a spring, feel the excitement of new beginnings, the tender energy of potential. Do not rush it, trying to force the blooms to open before their time. Simply nurture the new growth. If you are in a summer, bask in the fullness of your life. Enjoy the warmth, the light, the abundance. Do not fear the coming autumn. Simply inhabit the richness of this present fullness. If you are in an autumn, honor this time of harvest and release. What are you ready to let go of? What wisdom have you gathered? Admire the beauty of your changing colors and trust the process of shedding what is no longer needed. And if you are in a winter, do not fight the call to go inward. Honor the need for rest, for quiet, for darkness. Trust that in this fallow period, your energy is gathering deep in your roots, preparing for the inevitable return of spring. By embracing your own season, you stop fighting with time. You begin to cooperate with it, to dance with it. The fear of running out of time is replaced by a deep trust in the rightness of the timing. You understand that you cannot rush your own unfolding, nor can you delay it. You are part of a great, intelligent, and rhythmic process. Your only task is to be fully present in the season you are in. Let this beautiful, natural metaphor soothe your anxious mind. Your life is not a race against the clock. It is a garden, slowly and beautifully unfolding through its God-given seasons. Trust your season, water your roots, and let yourself grow at the pace that nature intended for you and for you alone. In this state of deep trust, aligned with the patient rhythms of nature, we are now ready for a profound act of inner alchemy. We are going to consciously take the raw, primal energy of our fear and transform it into its polar opposite, a heightened, vibrant, and deeply peaceful sense of aliveness. Fear, at its core, is a powerful energy. It floods the body with adrenaline, heightens the senses, and focuses the mind with laser-like intensity. It is the body's emergency response system, a surge of pure life force designed for survival. When this energy has no real, present moment threat to fight or flee from, as is the case with our fear of a conceptual future, it turns inward and becomes what we experience as anxiety. It becomes a buzzing, frantic, corrosive force that circles endlessly within our nervous system, with nowhere to go. It is life energy that has been trapped and soured. The alchemical process we are about to engage in is the act of untrapping this energy, of giving it a new direction and a new purpose. We are not going to destroy the fear. We are not going to suppress it. We are going to transmute it. Let's begin by locating that raw energy of fear in the body once more. It might feel like that familiar tightness in the chest, the flutter in the stomach, the electric tension in the shoulders. Instead of labeling it fear or anxiety, let's simply experience it as pure, undifferentiated energy. Feel its vibration, its intensity. Acknowledge its power. For a moment, just be with it without judgment, without needing it to change. This is the raw material for our transformation. It is like holding a lump of unrefined ore in your hands. It is potent. It is valuable. Now, we will gently and intentionally give this energy a new job. We are going to redirect its flow. The panic we feel about the possibility of death is, when you look at it closely, the flip side of a profound and fierce love for life. You would not fear its end if you did not, at the very core of your being, treasure the gift of being alive. The intensity of the fear is a direct measure of the intensity of your love for life. So, let us honor that. Let us take that powerful, buzzing energy of fear and consciously relabel it. This is not just a mental trick. It is a deep repatterning of our emotional response. We are going to call this energy aliveness. Take a slow, deep breath, and as you exhale, imagine that the knot of fear energy in your chest is beginning to loosen, to soften at the edges. With your next inhale, imagine you are breathing directly into that knot, infusing it with warmth, with acceptance, with a gentle, loving intention. And as you exhale again, imagine this energy beginning to transform. The frantic, chaotic buzzing begins to slow down, to harmonize, to become a smooth, warm, glowing current. The panic about death is becoming a quiet, profound appreciation for the simple, staggering fact of being alive. Right now, in this body, in this bed. Let this newly transformed energy, this warm, glowing sense of aliveness, begin to spread from your chest outwards. Imagine it as a gentle, liquid golden light flowing slowly and peacefully through your entire body. Feel it moving down into your solar plexus and abdomen, soothing any remaining tension, replacing the hollow feeling of anxiety with a solid, peaceful sense of presence. Let it flow down through your hips, your legs, all the way to the tips of your toes. Feel your legs, which can so often feel restless with anxiety, become heavy, warm, and deeply relaxed, suffused with this calm, vital energy. Now, let this golden light of aliveness flow upwards from your chest. Feel it move across your shoulders, melting away the last remnants of tension. Let it pour down your arms, filling your hands with a gentle, tingling warmth. Your hands, which might clench in fear, can now rest open and peaceful, filled with the simple, joyful energy of being. Finally, let it flow up through your neck, into your head. Feel it soothe the muscles in your jaw, your face, your scalp. Imagine it gently bathing your brain, quieting the frantic thought loops, and replacing them with a silent, luminous peace. Your entire body is now filled with this transformed energy. The very force that was causing you distress has now become the source of a deep, pervasive, and healing calm. This is the essence of alchemy, turning lead into gold. You have not gotten rid of the fear. You have honored its power and given it a higher purpose. You have allowed it to remind you on a cellular level of the preciousness of the present moment. The fear of not having enough time has been transformed into a profound sense of having everything you need right here in the fullness of this single breath. This is no longer an intellectual concept. It is a felt, physical reality, a somatic experience of peace. With your body infused with this deep, peaceful gratitude, just rest. There is nothing else to do. No more techniques to practice. No more ideas to understand. The work is done. Your only task now is to marinate in this state of being. Feel the gentle, rhythmic pulse of your own aliveness. Feel the quiet joy of it. This feeling is the truth. The frantic story of fear was just that, a story. This deep, quiet, glowing presence is the reality. It has been here all along, underneath the noise. The shock of mortality did not come to curse you with anxiety. It came to bless you with a deeper, more vibrant, and more grateful connection to the miracle of your own existence. And you have, in this quiet time together, fully received that blessing. Rest in it now. Let it be the gentle current that carries you effortlessly into the peaceful waters of sleep. As you rest in this state of transformed, peaceful aliveness, let us allow our sense of self to gently soften and expand one final time. We have journeyed from the personal fear to the body's wisdom to the metaphor of the garden. Now, we will take a step into a feeling of universal connection, a perspective that offers the ultimate release from the burden of individual time counting. This is the contemplative act of surrendering to something much larger than our small, separate selves. Imagine all lives, including your own, not as separate, isolated journeys, but as individual streams of water. Each stream begins at its own unique source, high in the mountains. It has its own character. Some streams are fast and turbulent, rushing over rocks and through narrow gorges. Others are slow and meandering, winding peacefully through wide, green valleys. Each stream follows its own distinct path, shaped by the landscape it moves through. For a time, your stream flows along, a singular current of awareness, experiencing its own particular journey. You can feel the coolness of your own water, the unique way you reflect the sunlight, the specific plants that grow along your banks. This is your individual life, your personal story. From this perspective, it's easy to become anxious. As a separate stream, you might start to worry about where you're going, how fast you're flowing, and when you will reach your end. You might look at other streams and compare their length, their clarity, their speed. You might fear drying up, or getting blocked, or simply ceasing to be. This is the anxiety of the separate self, the isolated drop of water anxiously measuring its distance to the great unknown sea. But now, let's shift the perspective. Imagine that as your stream continues its journey, it begins to meet other streams. At first, it's just a few, trickling in from the sides. But then, more and more join, and your small individual stream begins to merge into a larger creek, and then a river. Feel this transition happening now. Feel the boundaries of your individual self, your personal story, your separate timeline beginning to soften. You are not losing yourself. You are joining something larger. The water that was you is now mingling with the water from countless other streams. It is all flowing together now in one great unified current. This is the great, timeless river of life itself. In this river, it is no longer possible to say, this drop is me and that drop is you. It is all one water, one flow, one immense and powerful movement. The person whose death you have been grieving, their stream has already merged fully with this great river, returning to the source from which it came. They are not gone. They have simply dissolved back into the wholeness of being. And you are already part of this river too. You have not yet reached the sea, the final dissolution, but your water is already indistinguishable from the great flow. This is the contemplative act of letting go of your individual count. In the river, there is no counting. There is only flowing. To try and hold on to your separate timeline, your personal tally of days, while you are already part of this immense current, is a futile and exhausting struggle. It is like trying to build a small dam of twigs and leaves in the middle of the Amazon. The river will simply flow over it and around it. The wisdom is not in resisting the flow, but in surrendering to it. Let go of the need to be a separate stream. Let go of the burden of your personal story. Feel yourself dissolving into the vast, collective, and eternal river of life. Trust its course. The river knows where it is going. It has been flowing for eons, long before your stream began, and it will continue to flow long after your particular contribution has merged completely. It is a force of immense intelligence and purpose. You do not need to navigate. You do not need to steer. You only need to let go and be carried. This perspective releases the tremendous burden of personal control. So much of our anxiety comes from the belief that we are solely responsible for our journey, that we must force our way through life, making all the right decisions to reach a safe destination. But in the river, you are held, you are carried, you are part of a movement so much greater and wiser than your individual mind could ever be. Your surrender is not an act of giving up. It is an act of profound trust. It is the recognition that you are being held and guided by a power and intelligence that is beyond your comprehension, but which is fundamentally benevolent. Feel this sense of being held right now. Feel the great, gentle, powerful current of the river of life carrying you, supporting you, moving you effortlessly forward. There is nothing for you to do. The doing is being done. You can simply rest in the flow. This does not negate the uniqueness of your life. Every drop of water in the river is necessary to make the river what it is. Your unique experiences, your love, your consciousness, they all add a particular quality to the great flow. You are contributing to the whole simply by being, but you are relieved of the terrible, isolating burden of being separate from it. You are a wave, and you are also the ocean. You are a unique expression of life, and you are also the entirety of life itself. Rest in this paradox. Let it dissolve the sharp edges of your fear. The question of how much time is left becomes meaningless when you realize you are already a part of something that is timeless. You are flowing. That is all, and it is enough. Having dissolved into the great, flowing river of life, feeling held and carried by a force much larger than yourself, we arrive now at a place of profound stillness and surrender. The journey of the night is drawing to its natural close. We have acknowledged our fear, observed our mind, reclaimed our own timeline, set down our burdens, and aligned ourselves with the deep, trusting wisdom of the body and of nature. The active work is now complete. What remains is the final, gentle act of letting go. This is the moment where we give ourselves sacred permission to cease all effort. For many of us, this is the hardest part. We are so accustomed to doing, to figuring out, to trying, to holding on, that the simple act of stopping can feel alien and unproductive. We may even feel a subtle sense of guilt, as if by falling asleep on our anxieties, we are somehow abandoning our post. It can feel like we are the sole night watchman responsible for keeping our own lives safe, and to fall asleep is to be derelict in our duty. Tonight, we are going to consciously and lovingly release ourselves from that post. We are going to give ourselves explicit, gentle, and absolute permission to stop the mental vigil. You have permission to cease the calculations. The numbers have no power here anymore. You have permission to stop trying to solve the riddle of your own mortality. It is a mystery to be lived into, not a problem to be solved. You have permission to let go of the immense, self-imposed responsibility of worrying. Worrying has never added a single hour to anyone's life. It has only ever subtracted joy and peace from the hours we already have. You have stood guard long enough. You can now, with honor and relief, lay down your arms. This is the great transformation from active, anxious doing to passive, trusting being. All night, your mind has been doing. It has been calculating, comparing, projecting, fearing. All of these are active, energy-consuming verbs. Now, we are shifting into the state of simply being. Being still, being quiet, being present, being held. Notice the profound difference in the feeling of those two states. Doing is tense, effortful, and forward-leaning. Being is relaxed, effortless, and settled perfectly in the present. To move from one to the other is not a matter of effort. It is a matter of cessation. You do not have to try to be. You just have to stop doing. It is the art of subtraction, not addition. You are not adding a layer of peace on top of your anxiety. You are simply allowing the anxiety, which is a form of doing, to fall away, revealing the state of peaceful being that was here underneath it all along. To help facilitate this final release, let us speak a few words of permission directly to ourselves, silently in the sanctuary of our own minds. You can repeat them softly, or simply listen and let them resonate within you. I give myself permission to let go now. I have done enough for today. The world will continue to turn without my anxious supervision. My body knows how to heal itself while I sleep. My heart knows how to continue beating. I can release my grip. I can surrender my need to control the uncontrollable. It is safe for me to rest. Rest is not an act of avoidance or weakness. It is a necessary and sacred part of my living journey. It is an act of profound trust and wisdom. Feel the truth of these words settling into your bones. Feel the release they offer. This is not a permission you need to earn from anyone else. It is a gift that only you can give to yourself, and you are so very, very worthy of receiving it. Imagine, for a moment, that your consciousness is a hand that has been clenched tightly all day, holding on to your worries, your plans, your fears. Now, feel that hand, finger by finger, beginning to slowly, gently open. The first finger releases its grip on the past, on things you cannot change. The next finger releases its grip on the future, on things you cannot know or control. The third finger releases its grip on the stories you tell yourself, the anxious narratives and calculations. The fourth finger releases its grip on the expectations you have for yourself and others. And finally, your thumb releases its grip on the very idea that you are the one in charge. Your hand is now completely open, palm facing upwards, in a gesture of pure surrender and receptivity. It is empty. It is at peace. It is ready to receive the gift of sleep. Time Choose 2.0's. In this state of open-handed being, we can affirm a final, crucial truth, that our rest is not a betrayal of the one we are grieving. To fall into a peaceful sleep is not to forget them. In fact, it can be the deepest way of honoring them. We honor the sanctity of their final rest by embracing the necessity of our own. We affirm the value of life, the gift they no longer have, by fully participating in its cycles, including the sacred cycle of rest and renewal. To choose peace, to choose trust, to choose to receive the healing gift of sleep, this is to choose life. And choosing life, with all its beauty and its pain, is the most profound tribute we can pay to those who are no longer able to do so. Your peace does not diminish their memory. It magnifies the preciousness of the life that continues. So let go, with a clear and loving conscience. Surrender into the quiet. You have permission. In this open, surrendered state, with permission fully granted, we can now invite the mind to perform one last, gentle, effortless task. This is not an act of doing, but an act of visualization, a final, poetic release that will pave the way for sleep. We are going to witness the slow fading of the numbers, all the numbers that have haunted the edges of our consciousness tonight, the ages, the dates, the years we've been counting and subtracting. We will now watch them dissolve. Imagine you are standing on a quiet, peaceful beach at twilight. The sun has just set, and the sky is a soft, deep violet. The air is still and warm. The only sound is the gentle, rhythmic shushing of small waves lapping at the shore. The sand beneath your feet is cool and damp. Now look down at the sand at the edge of the water. See all those numbers etched there. There is the age of the person who has passed. There is your own age next to it. There are the years you've calculated, the dates you've feared. See them all, written clearly in the wet sand, like faint, shallow carvings. They look so solid, so definite, so real. For a moment, just observe them. Acknowledge the power they have held over you. See them for what they are: symbols, concepts, attempts by the mind to draw straight, rigid lines on the vast, curved surface of a mystery. They are the graffiti of anxiety, scrawled onto the shore of the present moment. Now, turn your attention to the water. The ocean here is not a crashing, violent force. It is the great, calm, timeless ocean of your own being, the deep peace we have been cultivating. In its breath is the gentle rhythm of your own breathing. With your very next exhale, a slow, gentle wave of this peaceful water slides up the beach. Watch as it washes over the first of the numbers. See how the edges of the number soften, how the sharp lines begin to blur. As the wave recedes, the number is still there, but it is fainter now, its clarity diminished. Now, with your next slow, easy breath, another wave comes. It is your inhale and exhale, a single, complete motion of water. This wave washes a little higher, covering more of the etched numbers. Again, you see them soften, blur, and dissolve. The sharp edges of a 4 and a 7 melt into gentle curves. The straight line of a 1 begins to disappear into the smooth, dark sand. The process is effortless. You are not scrubbing the numbers away. You are not fighting them. You are simply breathing, and the gentle, rhythmic tide of your own breath is doing the work. It is the most natural thing in the world. The ocean of your presence is simply reclaiming its own shoreline. Continue to watch this process with a sense of calm, detached curiosity. With each slow, gentle wave of breath, the numbers fade a little more. What was once a sharp 52 is now just a faint, watery impression. What was a stark 2043 has become a series of soft, meaningless shapes in the sand. The tide of your breath is patient and persistent. It does not rush. It simply keeps arriving, and with each arrival, it brings a little more peace, a little more emptiness. The numbers are losing their power. They are losing their form. They are being washed away, returned to the undifferentiated smoothness from which they were drawn. Feel the relief in your mind as it watches this. The part of you that was so obsessed with these figures, so trapped by their rigid logic, is finally witnessing their dissolution. It is being shown in this gentle, undeniable way that these numbers have no ultimate reality. They are as transient as drawings in the sand. Soon, the waves have washed over all the numbers many times. You look down at the sand, and where there were once sharp, anxiety-provoking figures, there is now only a smooth, dark, unbroken expanse. The beach is clean. The sand is empty. There is nothing left to calculate. There is nothing left to measure. There is only the vast, quiet peace of the shore at twilight and the gentle, rhythmic sound of the waves. Your mind, which was the cluttered, number-filled patch of sand, is now invited to become like this empty beach. It is invited to become a quiet, open, and receptive space, a space free from the lines and boxes and constraints of calculated time. It is a space where there is no past to regret and no future to fear, only the gentle, rhythmic presence of the now, as constant and as soothing as the tide. Let your mind rest in this emptiness. It is not a frightening void. It is a peaceful, liberating emptiness. It is the emptiness of a clean slate, of a silent room, of a still lake at dawn. It is the natural state of the mind before it fills with thoughts, and it is the perfect state for entering sleep. There are no problems left to solve here. There are no numbers left to add. The slate has been wiped clean by the gentle water of your own breath. Rest here, on this quiet, empty shore, and know that this peace is your true nature. The numbers were just temporary visitors. This stillness is your home. Here, on the quiet, empty shore of the mind, we arrive at the final threshold. The numbers have faded. The vigil has ended. The great, flowing river has carried us to a place of profound peace. And now, before us, lies the gentle, mysterious ocean of sleep. As you prepare to drift into its depths, let us frame this final act not as a conclusion, but as the ultimate metamorphosis of the night. Sleep is the ultimate act of trust. It is a journey we take every night into a timeless dimension where the tyranny of the clock and the calendar ceases to exist entirely. In the world of sleep, there is no counting. There is no past, no future. There is only the deep restorative mystery of being. To willingly let go of your waking, conscious, controlling self and surrender to this mystery is the final and most complete expression of the trust we have been cultivating all along. You are letting go of the doer, the thinker, the worrier, and allowing a much deeper, wiser intelligence to take over. You are entrusting your entire being to the profound healing that happens only in the dark, only in the quiet, only in the complete surrender of sleep. As you begin to drift, understand that the transformation is not over. In many ways, the most profound metamorphosis is just beginning. It is a quiet, cellular alchemy that continues in the darkness. While your conscious mind rests, your body is hard at work, repairing tissues, consolidating memories, clearing out the metabolic debris of the day. Your brain is weaving the threads of your experience into the tapestry of your identity, solving problems and making creative leaps in the magical theater of dreams. This is not a passive void. It is a vibrant, active, and essential phase of your existence. Just as the chrysalis appears still and lifeless on the outside, while a miraculous transformation unfolds within, so too is sleep a period of profound and dynamic change. You will not wake up as the same person who lies down tonight. You will be subtly, imperceptibly, yet truly renewed. Let this understanding bring you a final, deep comfort. You do not have to figure everything out before you fall asleep. You can hand over your questions, your sorrows, and your half-formed insights to the wisdom of the night. Sleep is a great integrator. It takes the fragmented pieces of your day and helps them settle into a more coherent whole. The insights we have touched upon tonight, the release of fear, the trust in our own season, the dissolution into the river of life, will be more deeply absorbed and integrated into your being during sleep than they ever could be by conscious effort alone. You can trust the process. You can trust the darkness. You are simply stepping out of the way to allow a deeper, more ancient magic to do its work. And so, what is sleep really in this light? It is a gentle, natural release into the great mystery. It is a rehearsal, in the safest and most restorative way possible, for the ultimate letting go. Each night, we practice dying to the world of doing and being reborn into the world of being. We learn, in small, nightly increments, that it is safe to release our grip, that the world continues without our conscious control, and that we will be returned to ourselves, refreshed and renewed, by a grace that is not of our own making. Each morning's awakening is a small resurrection, a fresh start, a gift of new time that we can meet with the gratitude and presence we have cultivated here. Sleep, then, is not an escape from life. It is a deep immersion in the very processes of life itself, release, restoration, and renewal. It is the nightly metamorphosis that makes our daily living possible. So do not fight the gentle pull of drowsiness. Welcome it as a trusted guide, here to lead you home. Let the last vestiges of thought dissolve like mist in the morning sun. Let your awareness become diffuse, soft, and boundless. You are no longer a point of consciousness in a bed, in a room. You are simply consciousness, expanding to merge with the quiet, peaceful darkness all around you. You are a wave, gently and completely, returning to the stillness of the deep ocean. The story of your day is over. The open, unwritten page of tomorrow has not yet been turned. There is only this sacred, timeless pause. The great metamorphosis of sleep is calling you. Trust it, surrender to it, and be renewed.